I really got nothing to say, so let's just get to the review. It's the first chapter of the year, technically speaking, and we return to end the madness, or at least begin to turn to a different direction for the greater good. It needed to be dealt with if the theme of peace must remain consistent. As strange does that sound, it's only a matter of how it will be dealt with. It won't please everyone, but it does give me a chance to see where the road leads to. Let's get this out of the way. The theme of reunion is simple. A reunion. While we did get more about Musuki and her obsession for Kaneki, the main picture is her returning back home. The day of forgiving everyone she has harmed is not the story. Not until she understands her own road. The method of baby steps is needed. It is not over, but it's a step in the right direction for her. It's the matter of how much she will have to pay for her damage. While thinking of this approach, it doesn't come off character arc is over or no more of her. This chapter is about her accepting that she has a family, but in denial to admit it. If you recall correctly, her problems revolve with Kaneki and Toka, whom causes problems for their friends like Yoriko. When it comes to Q Squad, she doesn't have any grudges towards them, just distance herself from them as far as she can. It's abundantly clear when Uri was hopelessly watching Musuki walking out of the garden and let her run in the path towards death. There was no threat or hate towards Uri. She just wanted to be alone and go cause destruction. After Uri's development of openness to his family and friends, he no longer allows Musuki to get away without solving the issue, which is why he reacted differently. After the last chapter, this one makes sense, albeit a bit speedy. It's not about fighting in a barrage of combat. It's more about taking out all the anger and guilt from Musuki. What we receive is multiple strikes on Uri and even Saiko without pulling any attack on her. At least Uri could put his amazing tank stamina into good use, which is also neat that Saiko addresses it. It's a clear contrast between Ora and Musuki on the correction guidance. One has to get knocked to his senses and the other has to get rid of everything boiling inside. Though I wouldn't mind if the latter gets some hit, but that's just me. Uri gets pummeled, but allowed it on purpose. He doesn't do much talking, rather watches how Musuki reacts for every hit. He does taunt her for not able to kill him, but only because he wants her to realize her lies. Saiko does the talking, and as charming she has always been, she does show strong backbone. No pun intended? In fact, they don't really talk to her like they're trying to teach her a lesson in process. Instead, they continuously taunt her and question her without actual answer being said, rather being shown. I find this more effective than a history lesson procedure because it boils down to Musuki to be the one finding her deep feelings, even if it does amount to suicide. It reminds me of many other series where the character explodes when the problem becomes too much to handle, or how they find the moment to let it out. They either scream with hateful words, attacking objects to release struggle, or even both. Musuki never hated Uri and Saiko, so it wouldn't make much sense for her to be that psychotic. Otherwise, it's too typical. It's incredibly bold for those two to take all the hits like they're begging to die. I really adore Saiko's compliment to Uri, oddly enough, to let Musuki know that although he's taking everything in, it makes no less than being painful. She didn't care if it hurts her a lot, because she wants her friend back. The more Musuki attacks, the more she was getting closer to killing them off, only to realize that she doesn't want this. It's the old phrase, easier said than done. I do like the fact Musuki ends up finding out when she came too close to ending something she said she would do, but her heart doesn't accept it. It was a bit painful to hear her screaming the family names, but the ones from the past whom she hated to the core. It's better for her to accept her faults and desires than let someone else tell her how to think. The frame of the original Q Squad was touching to see. I still wish we had that family with updated characters like Psycho being brave, Uri being friendly and caring, and Musuki being strong and gentle. It's only by the end that Psycho and Uri finally got in there and only say one simple sentence. That is all need to be said. Psycho is like a little angel that always stayed true to her core character, always love her family. It was the last lesson that Musuki has to face. She needed to understand that there's someone that loves her. It's a simple message, but effective one in every story. My personal favorite is Uri telling her that they will be ready to handle her grudges with a wonderful use of inner monologue. His pledge to Shirazu hit me deeply, right to the heart. There was no hammering in about Shirazu being the greatest leader or how great of a friend he was. The line only reflects on Uri because his character has been superb, and when we fans draw the connection, it's profoundly touching. Musuki finally got to shed tears, and it feels like we are finally going to the right direction. That said, this is more about the family, not exactly redeeming everything she has done to Toka or even Kaneki. This is not about being redeemed, it's about entering the road to redemption. We have seen past moments that has been reflected and settled in this series. No doubt that type of moments will come, unless she gets killed before the arc ends. She has a long road ahead of her. Recapping her actions is not Kanu bad, so I am willing to give her a chance. Maybe if she had killed Toka or the unborn baby, I wouldn't, not one bit. The only problem I had is that it did feel a bit quick by the end. It's tough because if it goes on any longer, it will be draggy. It's probably a double-edged sword effect that you can't win completely. You just have to choose one and stand by it. I thought it's the best option of the two. It's the journey that I'm going to wonder the most. The presentation is pretty solid and rightfully so. This chapter conveys plenty of emotions and heart beatings. The chapter cover described the chapter all too well. It's emotional, conflicting, and one must let it all out. There are plenty of solid panels that send touching feelings of a family that wish to remain the same. This chapter would differ for anyone. It depends on how you feel about the character as well as given a chance. I do fall in between in many cases, but it is the road that I am willing to take and see how she will progress as a person that reminisces the good old days, or they no longer as a rookie. I don't know if there's any more of them after this, but once everything is settled, I hope to see them in a much healthier state. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Well, we're going to have a color page in the next chapter. It could be good news or it could be bad news. Right now we only have Kaneki's whereabouts, and Toka seems to be close to getting to him. It could end on a happy note or it could end on a tragic note. I like to believe on the former because hey, we have been on the roll with happy thoughts, unless it's all big troll. But it's weird because if we do end on a happy thoughts, that means Furuta has won, right? It is a strange feeling. I hope this year doesn't end so bad. I can only hope. And that will do it for the review. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.